We've got a question from Andrew Sharp who said, any issues with slots and domination gear will return with tier. I think, yes, you're right. However, people will feel happy to replace their domination slots with tier gear, and tier gear will likely be what you're replacing those slots with anyway. And I mean, look, it is that issue though. It does just mean that those domination shards, it's like, just treat them as a thing that happens within this raid. Don't treat them as anything else. Don't have that expectation, and maybe we can have arguments about player investment and stuff, but the shards are they're just trying to get a bunch more out of it, I guess. And
I guess
the difference with tier gear though is just there's no upgrade loop in tier gear. It's just you get your tier gear, you get some new toys for your spec, and then you're happy. Done. That's what people want.
It's like if I wanted to recap the issues immediately, it would be: 1, the legendary needs recrafted because the domination socket interferes with that. You can solve that with a scrapper, or token to refund, or token to change what gear it's on. Pretty handy. The other issue is the Great Vault dropping stuff and Mythic Plus gear interfering. You can solve that with having different tier sets for Mythic Plus or specific unique gear, or by disabling it in Mythic Plus, or sharing it even.
Yeah.
So it's the problems are easily solvable and won't be an issue if they can solve the problems.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm more than happy to share the idea of tier gear with... it's like I'm happy to share the idea of tier gear with Mythic Plus players. It's just it would be a bit tricky if... And it would be bad for them as well. If I as a raider feel like I've got to do M+ to get my tier, and then the Mythic Plus players feel like they've got a raid to get their tier. Yeah. But it being shared is what would make sense in terms of class design, because you want a class design. You don't want to suddenly have, guys, you've got to design 2 things for every spec in the game every single patch, which would take a lot of time. So be interesting to see what their modern interpretation of tier sets are like. I hope it's not particularly complex, because I think people just want nice, clean, simple.
Yep, just let me go into the raid and get the gear that makes my class more fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. Whoops. I don't stop punching the microphone. There you go. We've got from Vraz OK, who said, or VRA is okay, who said, I'm just going to walk around naked at this point. I'm so fucking confused by this gear. I mean, that's the thing. The more that Blizz tries to get progression out of everything that you put in your character that's also gear, I mean, the more people are just like, okay, so I've done the entire Azerite thing. Oh, phew. Okay, and then I've done the entire corruption thing. Oh, phew. And then I've done the entire new legendary thing with the Soul Ash. And then I've done the entire thing with the nomination shards. And then I did all of the farming of the sockets. And then it just gets to the point where they're like, man, I've done so much. It changes all the time. The thing I just did is no longer worth anything. Why do I bother anymore? And then suddenly we got people just walking around naked. Okay, that bit will happen as a problem.
Yeah,
but
no, go for it.
I get it. And we've got one from Black Cat who said, I love watching Mike's energy level rapidly deflate as Mike dissects every possible future problem with it. Nice hair, by the way. Love seeing it while you bang your hair against the table. Well, if I bang the new hair against the table, I might knock it out. It's been 8 days, though. It's a bit more set in. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It is... when you're a player who is driven to a game by A, the fantasy of that world, and B, the sort of aspirational mastery loop of getting good at that game and then defeating the hard content in that game and having the satisfaction of getting curved, but what your means to that is sitting there and explaining a whole bunch of loops that systems designers have injected into the game that it didn't need to have in the past. I mean, then, you can obviously see that my energy levels deflate. And sometimes, look, it's, in some of our, like, explainer videos, it's quite hard to keep being, keep it all up, because I'm just sitting there being like, yep, my job is to explain to people how this works so that they have a good gaming experience. But at the same point, many of the people watching this guide to work out how this thing works won't really like it that much. And I also don't really like it that much. So, oh man, can we...
Yeah.
That's that situation. It's kind of rough. And we got from Day Day or Deed. Which one? Who knows?
Well, looks like Did he?
Yeah, Did he? Who said, what if they had a gear set, brackets domination, for Torghast, where you can slot perks and improve as you replay, making it a roguelite? Yeah. Imagine if there's a Torghast set of gear, and at the end of Torghast runs, you maybe got some form of, reward for doing your Torghast. And, then that is something that you could sort of build up a set over time. And maybe, it was some sort of pseudo roguelite actual sort of thing. I'm acting, by the way. But, something there where, you're a Torghaster and you're like, look at my sick Torghast gear. Hey, I have, I reached Torghast level 200 with my epic Torghast set. Look how big my Torg dick is.
Exactly, yeah.
That's like just a part of the mastery and accomplishment loop of video gaming that Torghast doesn't really have. I mean, it does have that mount you get for TC layer 12, but, we could do more, could do better.
Look at the size of my Tower of the Damned.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. The Damned. That's a bit
unreasonable.
I agree with you. I think that there should be a Torghast gear set, and it's the sort of thing where, I think Torghast should have, great, because if they did a Torghast gear set now, what would happen is all the people be like, Michael, for fuck's sake, all I want to do is Mythic Raid. Now my 5 Mythic Raiding characters have got to get the Torghast set so that I can more quickly get my Soul Cinders and now put another chore in the game. And I would be like, oh yeah, shit, you guys are right. That would not be good. So, in a world where Soul Cinders do not exist and Soul Ash does not exist, and Torghast is actually, fun first, power progression second or not at all, it would be great if, there's a Torghast set. And, maybe it caps out, I'll just use this season's item levels, maybe it caps out, a few eye levels below a normal raid. Or maybe at a normal raid. Or I don't know what it caps out
Probably
at.
a normal raid, that's what they're kind of be aiming for.
Yeah, and, maybe you're able to socket things in it which increases its item level inside Torghast.
Yeah.
And then get some effects in it. So that...
Sweet.
Then you're just playing Torghast like it's a fun little roguelite thing. And, if that was a thing... I would be interested. I would be doing it in different characters. I'll be like, oh yeah, cool, build out my Torghast set in this tune. See what cool upgrades and things I can put in the gear. But they've not done it that way.
Yeah,
there we
go. Almost literally, you've got raiding, you've got Mythic Plus, got PvP, all their gear. Just like, PvP, copy, paste, rename, Torghast, done.
Yeah.
Job's a good one. Job's a good one.
Yeah, and then that Torghast gear, maybe the next expansion, you work out some way where that can just be a little thing in WoW. Yeah. Maybe in the same way as like an FF player in the latest expansion or whatever wants to level up a bit of a tune and, an old, because I think the tower or whatever, the path of whatever it's called.
Palace of the Dead. And then Heaven on High, which is the 60 to 70 version.
And what expansion is that from?
That is from, Palace of the Dead is from Heavensward, and Heaven on High is from Stormblood. There is no Shadowbringers
so that
equivalent.
Is old expansion content that is still like relevant and fun now.
Yeah, it's relevant for leveling. Also relevant for the achievement for solo Palace of the Dead, because all your scaling just works.
Well, there.
It just works.
WoW could do that. FF does it, gets a big win. I want WoW to get big wins. Let's get WoW to do it.
Yep.